All right, so again, I'm going to show you guys how to actually make your design on Tinkercad and how to play with it. So again, this is your first time for a lot of you using Tinkercad, so I'm going to just teach you enough stuff to make you dangerous and be able to play around and create something, but not go into all the little details because you can try to learn a lot of that stuff on your own. So remember, once you guys got your brainstorm and financial page approved by us, on your packet. This is approved. Then you're able to go on. So again, the two templates that we have are saved under stage one. So if you're going to do the 4x7 design, here's the link. If you're going to do the 5x7 design, here's the link. So when you click on it, it takes you to this page and it shows you that you need to copy and tinker, and that makes your own copy. So because I'm the owner of those, I don't want to mess with them, so I made my own template here. So let me show you some of the basic things that you can do here. Move my head up here. Like the sweater. Yay, sweater. All right. So I have a bunch of stuff on here built for you. The base of this entire board, if I move it around with the arrows, which is how I encourage you to move your stuff using your keyboard. And we have mice that you can use to move the rest of it around. It makes it a lot easier. That's all put together for you. If you download the file, you'll have this ball over here. That ball is a reference ball. That's the size ball bearing you will have for your maze. So if you make a 5x7, I have a larger ball bearing for that design. But that's there so you can always check as you're building. Will it fit between the walls? It will. Now, to bring this ball up so it sits on top of the red space, you just grab that black triangle and pull up until you see it sitting above it like that. Okay? And then you can move it around. Now remember, we wanted you to personalize your marble maze. So the easiest way we told you to do it, for those that have never done Tinkercad before, this is the way to do it. All you got to do is put your name there. Okay? So it's real easy the way I have it set up. It already says your name. So when you click on it, you'll see that it says text and you can change it. So if I wanted to change mine to say Mr. Singer, okay, I can do that. You can see here that it's highlighted as whole. And if I zoom in here, you see how that looks empty. What that's set up to do is it's set up to cut into the plastic. If I set solid, you'll see that it pops upward, right? So you have two different options of how you can set it up. I have it mostly set up for you guys right away to create a hole so that it just makes an empty space. That way the ball bearing can roll over it and it doesn't affect you at all or doesn't affect the way the game's played. So the other things that you'll see here too, I forgot to mention these. You see this little hole, circle, or sphere? There's two of them there, right? And you see an S next to one and an F next to the other. Anyone know what that S and F stand for? Yeah.
Start and finish.
Yep, start and finish. So if you want to have those on there, great. If you're like, I don't want the S and F, I want to just be able to go back and forth, just delete it. Click delete on your keyboard. But I'm going to keep them on there now because I put them on there because I like it. Next, let's talk about making your maze. You can take any scrap paper, notebook, whatever you got, and you can try to lay out a path for the marble to be able to run from start to finish. Remember, how many paths do you have to have minimum? Two, right? One that gets you to the final, one that doesn't get you to the final. So before I start playing around, let me show you my example that I made earlier. Let me open it up. Let me show you an example I made earlier that shows you the path that goes from one to the other. So if I get to mine here it is. Tinker this. And the other thing you'll see on my example, I'm going to show you in a little bit how to do. And again, I'm making this video for you guys again so you can go back and see how to make this work. So here's the one I made earlier. It took me probably a half hour to develop. So I'm going to bring over my reference ball. Here's where it starts. You can see that there are multiple paths. I could roll the ball down to here, and go all the way? Am I going to make it to the final? Nope. It actually blocks it off. So you need to have at least one path where the ball has nowhere to go. I also have a path. I know the ball doesn't normally go that way. I also have a path here. And again, you can see I made sure that I used this reference ball in between the two walls to make sure I know that it would fit. There's a lot of students earlier this year that the ball wouldn't even like leave their marble because they didn't do it. I could have the marble go this way. Is it going to make it to the final path? No. And actually, it would get stuck in here. Okay, so that's two paths where it's not going to work. The only path that works is past the mustache, go through the mustache here, down and around, and even over here, even going up in here, it would get caught. So the only way it can go is this way, and this is my one successful path. The other ones are unsuccessful. That's how you make a good maze. Okay. So let me show you with the other example I have here how you can make yours kind of look similar. So I'm going to go back to mine that we just started where I put my name on it. And again, these starting and finish spots, I made them mobile, or movable, because what if you wanted to start this hole in a different spot? You can move it wherever you feel most comfortable. Maybe you want to have it like this, and everyone probably sees, oh, look at this. I just have to go in a straight line from one corner to the next for a start to finish. But when they start making your maze, you make it the most difficult track to get all the way there. Okay, let's say I wanted to do that. I'm going to trick people. So I have two walls made already. If you click on one, you start using the arrows, you can move it around. Okay, so I want to put the S in front of the hole. Again, the marble will be able to just roll over that S because it's a hole. It's cut into the wood. We're going to start this way. I'm going to make it seem like it's super easy. Um, if I zoom in on this wall, you'll see that I pushed it into each other. That's how we want it to be because then when you 3D print, it glues it together. It kind of fuses it. So we do want it to look that way. I'm going to move back out, change my view. I'm going to bring my ball over because I'm going to make sure my walls fit the ball. Okay, so I can trick someone. I can zoom in here, and I'm going to be like, I'm going to make this path look like it's really simple. So if I click on the wall, I want to make it longer. I can click in this little corner here, that white node, and I can just click and drag with my mouse. I also can click there and find the exact measurement I want. So let's say I want to make it 72, like that. Okay, well, that looks like it's going to be rolling right into the final, doesn't it? And then this is where I can be the mean guy, and I'm going to take a wall. Now, you're going to want more than two walls, right? So if I click on this one and I do Control C, Control V, you can see it makes a copy. So I'm going to make a copy. I'm going to drag it over until it sticks into the blue wall and the green wall. And now I can see it's a little long. I don't want it to be that long, so I'm going to shorten it up. Let's do 20. Oop, I need less. 18. One more less. 17. So if I do this, the ball's going to run into the wall, and it can't go anywhere. What else do you notice about this right now? The ball can't go anywhere at all. So I need to open up a path. Well, I don't want it to go to final, so I'm going to make this wall open a little bit. So instead of 72, I'm going to make it 65. And now I'm going to see if that ball would be able to roll out of here. Looks a little tight, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So let's just shrink this maybe down to 60. Oh, that's more than enough. Now the ball can be able to make it through. Now I'm going to make another path for that ball to travel to, and I may make walls that go all over the place, and then eventually it goes here. So you can move walls around as much as you want, make gaps where you want, make it challenging. But remember, you have to have, like I have here, one path that's successful and at least one path that is not successful. Here it gets stuck, here it gets stuck, here it gets stuck, here it gets stuck. This is not considered a stuck path because it can just roll around that T. Okay? So that's what you're going to work on. Last thing before I get you guys working, and if you're watching this video, again, you can repeat this whenever you want. Let's say you were one of those that said you want to put your logo into your design. How many people want to put their logo into their design? Okay, this takes a lot more work. So again, watch what I'm going to do. You're one that's probably going to be watching this video again. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. All right. So I took my design that we made in class. I went to Canva, like you guys will do, because that's where we have our logo shared. I'm going to click on my logo. And I picked the one that is, let me move this over. I picked the one that is probably the most simple to use as an SVG file, which was page 6. Okay. So to get this, you go to share, go to download. Canva has a way of downloading SVG, but it doesn't work. So we're just going to keep it as a PNG and then convert it. So I'm going to click here where it says all 8 pages and click off. Again, I have page 6 here. So I'm going to go to page 6, click, done, download, and then you see that it will load it onto my computer. Here it is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the website that Mr. Harris and I have for Fab Lab. So there's 2 ways to do it. You can go to Google Classroom, click to Welcome to Fab Lab and click on there, or just Google FRMS Fab Lab and we're the first search on that because there's literally no one else that has that name, FRMS Fab Lab. Famous Fab Lab. Now you're going to click on resources and we're going to convert. You guys remember what file name it said that it downloaded it as from Canva? PNG. Very good. PNG. For reference in the video, no one raised their hand. All right. Scrolling down here to converter, I'm going to go to PNG to SVG. I'm going to click on the drop files here section. And I'm going to download that thing that I just downloaded, Fab Lab Fabricators. If you ever see a parentheses after it, a 1, that means you've already downloaded it one other time. And it keeps doing that each time. But that's the one I want. Then once it uploads, you see the green line go across. I'm going to click Start. And it's going to convert it for me. And it's going to change page. Once it says download, then I know we've been successful. Huzzah, huzzah. Hit download. And you can see now we have an SVG file. So now I'm going to go into Tinkercad. And I want to put that file on here. So let me move this guy out of the way. I'm going to go to Import, choose a file, and I'm going to find that PNG file that we just made, which is right here. And when I click on it, it says, whoa, this file is way too big. You can see that it has 1,800 pixels by 1,800 pixels, and the max it will do is 1,000. I don't even need that. So I'm going to cut the 0 off of 1,800 to make it 180. You see what it did with the width? It automatically changed that. Now I'm going to click Import, zoom out because it's still going to be big, and it's going to download that file onto Tinkercad for me to use. Once it's there, then I can manipulate it and move it around how I want it to look. Okay, so that's what I did with this one earlier. So let's pretend I just downloaded this. This thing was probably, let's say, 600, tab 600. Ooh, made it too big. Let's say it was really big on there. I don't know why it hasn't downloaded on here yet. Must be because it's a really large file. But let me just refresh this. So once your file is on there, it's going to be really big. Okay? Like really big. Let's change that size again. So it was 600 by 600, something like that. If I zoom out, I can shrink it down. So here's what I do. I click the corner up here. I'm going to click Shift on the keyboard and then click the corner. And that way, when I shrink it down and move it over, when I shrink it down, everything is proportionate length and width at the same time. So the next thing we're going to do is it will start with it on the floor. I'm going to make it a little smaller. So I'm going to hit Shift and drag it down. And then when I drag it over here, do you guys see it?
No.
No. Here's what we have to do. All we have to do is bring it up. So you grab that black little triangle and you drag it up until you see it. And now if I zoom over, you can see it's kind of floating now. You want your height to be at least 10 millimeters. And if it's still too high, what you can do is click D, and it puts it right on the base of the of the work plane, and then just drag it up a wee little bit. If you go and look at it at the left view or side view or something, you'll see if it's too tall or not. You want it to be just as high as the wall. So I'm going to drag it up just a little more. And there we go. So now we have our shape where we want it and how we like it. And now you can build walls around it or modify it so it works the way you want it to work. But that's how you put your file in there, and then you set it to the right size. Now you can play around with this, make sure it works, make sure it looks good. See Mr. Harris and myself if you ever have any questions at all, and we can make sure that it's successful. But once you have your maze the way you want it to be, what we're going to do then is remember that reference ball we have over here? We don't need it anymore, so you're going to delete it. You're going to highlight the entire thing. So everything that's on here, you can do Control A. So it highlights everything. And then Control G. And what that does is it groups it. So nothing can move anymore. It's all stationary. If I do move it on my own, it'll move everything on my own. And then from here, then once it's all connected, Mr. Harris and I can show you how to do this again. You'll just go to Export, and you can download the STL, and you'll be turning that file into us so we can put it onto the 3D printer. If that's not going to work, the other option we might tell you to do is go to Send To. Or sorry, it's even easier if I do this. This little person with the plus, you can click that, copy the link, and we'll show you somewhere where you can download that link too. So there's a couple ways to send it. But either way, that's how you build on this. That's how you play with it. Now that it's all grouped, I can move it all around. And you probably also noticed where we had those little indents. Now they're actual indents. There's the S, there's the F. They're embedded in, and it says Go Falcons. So that all works that way. Again, if you want to put your design in here, make sure you're willing to do the work because you will get frustrated with it. If that's just too much work for you, remember you can just type your name here or type whatever phrase you want on yours. Okay, you'll get the same grade either way because you're at least meeting one of the basic requirements that you need for your design. So, for the video portion, if you have any questions, you can come see one of us, rewatch the video. That's why I'm making it here for you guys to rewatch as well. If you need any help, see us. Otherwise, during class, I'll take some questions here. But that's it. Thanks for watching.